Imperfections within prepping. Believe it or not, it's not a bad thing. If you didn't have those stumbling blocks, those trials, those goofs that we all make up, and I know we've all made many goofs. I can only tell you how much time and money that I've kind of thought that I wasted in the process of prepping and being more prepared just in general. But you know what? In reality, I've just refined myself. I've just got a more specific and better tuned system because of it. If it wasn't for having some of those negative experiences and going, oh my gosh, I actually spent what on that? Or, oh my gosh, I bought 10 of those. Why did I do that? Or what the freak is this? I don't even know what this is, and I just bought it. If you've had those kind of experiences, I'm sure you have, as I have, you go, well, I won't be doing that anymore. Or I understand what I need specifically now. And so you can refine your needs. You can understand yourself much better. You get to actually hone down and clarify for yourself and others what is it that you really are looking for and so forth. So for example, we're going to use the category of food. There's a lot of people out here, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't find a good food or at least a reasonably priced food that will store long term. And they just kind of go out in a panic and buy a bunch of junk. And after maybe a year or two, they start to expire. And they start complaining about it as if they just couldn't know that it was going to expire in a year or two. And you're like, but didn't you even read the label? Didn't you even research it? What are you so surprised about? Cookies and chips and things like that don't last forever. Or granola bars don't last forever. If you leave out a bag of beans and they're unprotected for a couple years, they can go bad. You have to seal those things up. And people just seem like they're so shocked, And so that's just an idea of, if you just spent a little bit more time, you would have gotten a better result. But in a way, that could have been a perfect scenario and result for that person. They needed to have that disappointment and that maybe that minor setback or hardship so they can learn, okay, I'm not going to make those mistakes anymore. Now, you hope that they learn before they actually have a real emergency, because you don't want them to be in a learning curve of that large of a nature, especially with food supply, when the shit really hits and you have a year or two that you have to survive and your food is all gone bad, before the first month even ends. So you got to be mindful about, you are, and we are all continuously, all through our entire life, especially through our prepping adventure here, that we're going to get better and better and more refined. Now, at some point, you get so refined, especially in certain categories, that all you can do is just create more redundancies. Redundancies on redundancies, and that's not bad. Now, at a certain point, that you may go, okay, I'm going to force myself away from this category because I already have 5, 6, even 10 redundancies. I have friends that literally have 7 to 10 redundancies on a category. It could be fire making or heat sources and things like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's excellent. But, over here on the navigation or signaling, category, you're lucky to have one, and that one is very weak. So, sometimes you have to pry yourself off of a category and push yourself into another category, and it may not be very fun. Like I can know a lot of people, they hate to even mess with their first aid kit. All they want to do is just buy that pre-made $9 and was it 97-cent Walmart Johnson & Johnson Band-Aid Boo-Boo kit and say, hey, I got first aid and what's up? And that is a no-go, people, a no-go. I'm not going to get into details about first aid stuff, but just do the research and look in the box. Open it up, pull the stuff out. It ain't going to kill you. And see what you just bought for like $10. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I could have just gone to the dollar store, got a box or two of Band-Aids and a little bit of ointment cream, and I think I would have been about this in the same condition, and it had the same kind of preparedness. So you have to know your limitations, and you have to know and identify when your mistakes are your mistakes, but they're a good thing in a lot of ways because it forces you to grow, because it gives you a little bit of motivation when you get ticked off. Like I've been ticked off so many times on my gear until I go, okay, stop buying the junk, spend the extra $5 and get the real good item, the name brand item, and just be done with it. And maybe for the rest of my life, this item will last me. And it's been true in a lot of ways, especially like for can openers. I can't tell you $20 or $30 later after buying $1 or $2 can openers from the dollar store at Walmart and they break literally within days. I mean, I had one broke actually in the first day of use, or they may last a couple of weeks if you're lucky. And those little dollar can openers are just made out of like pieces of tin. I'm not kidding you. They're not even probably like, you know, traditional metal. It's like a tin alloy or something, and they bend. And I've had the actual handles just snap off, open a can. And so what you need to do though, for like between $10 to $20, you can get US made hardened steel that are chrome plated, like the swing away can opener, or all kind of can openers. But in general though, what I'm saying is that you can get some very heavy duty, I go with more of a commercial, like kitchen style, and it's all manual, and I mean, that thing will possibly last you the rest of your life if you keep it, you know, from getting rusted and stuff. So that's just a tip there, but that just kind of goes hand in hand, that if I didn't have those massive handfuls of failures, and if I didn't kind of keep on having an opportunity to beat it through my skull, quit buying cheap can openers, I would have never got to the point now of having several really good can openers. I mean, really, really good can openers that are so good and so smooth, and they work so efficiently. I cannot imagine having anything else. And the same thing goes with like my pocket knives or flashlights, or having decent backpacks or packs in general. Once you get the really good stuff, you're like, oh my gosh. Not only is it typically about 90% times you say to yourself, it is worth it, and I'm glad I spent the money, but you look back and go, man, for all the money that I spent on that crap stuff, I could have had that much more of the good stuff. So don't be cheap on yourself. Learn from your mistakes. Don't be too hard on yourself when you have a failure, because it's a great learning point to kind of point you in the direction of what you need to do next to actually get your needs met and finalized. So you'll be happy, everybody will be happy, and we'll all live a lot longer. So you guys be careful. Catch you real soon.